Good afternoon, everybody. Nothing cuter than baby animals. These are the first images of the little guy who was born at the Dallas Zoo. Check him out. He weighed in at 290 pounds. Sounds about right. The zoo says it will release his name next week. A beautiful baby elephant. Welcome to the world, little quote fella.
He's quite big for a little baby boy,
yeah,
right?
300 pounds. Okay, sir.
Oh, and you're a new dad, so can you imagine the diaper on that one? No. No, thank you, sir.
Don't want to be changing that at 3 a.m. A whole different scene. Oh, man, just something cute to start the show. And as always, we do like to begin as well with stories from the very top of our feed. And Scott, appreciate you being here. Julie's off today, so thanks for hanging with us.
Absolutely.
Today we start, today, let me say, I start with a sentence I never dreamed I'd say. Let me start that way. A rocket made by a 3D printer is going to be launched into space.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd ever say that either.
No.
The rocket, nicknamed Good Luck, Have Fun, was supposed to blast off from Cape Canaveral yesterday. Now, the countdown was stopped just 70 seconds from liftoff. A new launch window is scheduled for Saturday afternoon. Now, here's a time lapse of the printing of this rocket. Yeah, printing. The rocket is 110 feet tall, 7.5 feet wide, weighs more than 20,000 pounds.
Wow.
It has a total of 10 3D printed engines, which use liquid oxygen and liquid natural gas. Now, the goal of the company, Relativity Space, is to eventually be able to put a payload of some kind inside that thing, and then human passengers and send it up to outer space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
A lot
Scott,
going on right there.
You're a science and tech guy. You understand this stuff
Yes.
far better than I ever will. And I get the whole 3D printer, but that's also a little bit of a misnomer. It's not really a printer. I mean,
It's not like a paper printer.
It builds.
Yes.
It builds.
It's
something.
constructing something.
So does that make it a printer? That's the phrase that gets everybody.
Yeah, I guess yes, because technically it is printing out what was drawn, but it's also manufacturing at the same time. So it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
My nephew does this all the time, and he makes like superhero models and figurines. But a rocket ship, I'm not sure. There's a lot of integral parts for a rocket ship, so we'll see if it works.
That's reassuring. You're going to go up to space in a 3D printer rocket ship.
I won't be the first one on that one.
No, not without a good insurance policy, but it's cool.
Well, so moving from space back to Earth, our next two stories are about technology and how it's changing the way everyday things are done in unique ways.
Ain't that the truth? Well, a Florida excavation company planning to use dump trucks that can drive themselves to help build a neighborhood. This is all in Naples. And while full automation on construction equipment is still a whole lot of years away, the trucks do use it's called supervised autonomy. Slight contradiction, but okay. That means the equipment can operate itself, but humans can also step in and use remote controls to help things out. The semi-self-driving dump trucks are set to begin working in the Florida neighborhood this summer. I mean, it only makes sense that we're doing self-driving construction equipment. You have self-driving cars, so of course that's next.
And
right?
it speeds up the process. You got one guy controlling a whole bunch of things, a lot less expense that goes into it. So of course they're gonna figure out how to make that happen.
Indeed, because how many construction projects ever happen on time and under budget?
Everyone I've ever been to, there's a bunch of guys standing around drinking coffee, looking at each other for about a half an hour. So this might speed things up just a little bit.
Exactly. Oh, man. So what if that same idea, however, was applied to things like rental cars? Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Well, a Las Vegas company is working in that as we speak. Our friend Alyssa Bethencourt takes us along for the ride.
In Las Vegas's Arts District, one company is driving forward the rental car industry with its own electric touch.
We will remotely drive an all-electric vehicle with nobody inside to just deliver a car to you.
That's the vision behind Halo Car. The company's eventual goal is to deliver cars autonomously to customers, almost like a video game, equipped with a steering wheel and all.
The long-term vision for the company is to transition the world away from gasoline cars to all-electric.
After the car is delivered, the customer drives the car as much as they'd like and then drops it off wherever, whenever. The company then drives the car back remotely.
Now, you don't have to worry about maintenance, you don't have to worry about charging it, you don't have to worry about wear and tear.
By next month, the goal is to do driverless delivery and return in the Arts District. You also don't have to worry about downloading an app. The entire process can be done by visiting their website on your smartphone. Aside from the convenience, the company is also focused on giving the green light to a green footprint, eliminating the majority of parking lots, also on their list of possibilities.
So now what we're saying is if the car starts moving around, it doesn't have to be parked, which means that these parking lots can be changed into some form of storefront or affordable housing or something very creative.
What do you think about that one?
I don't want to be the first, kind of like the rocket ship. I don't want to be the first, but I've yet to understand the need for self-driving cars or driverless. What's the need? What is it? What itch is it scratching?
I don't want to give up that kind of authority or that kind of power. It's like, I'm a bad enough driver already. I don't know if I trust some remote control or even computer program to drive me around or family around. I just don't know if I'm there yet.
Yeah.
Then it's not just driving me around, but other cars just driving past me with nobody. I'd be like, what is going, and causing an accident myself. So I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I wish the company luck. I mean, it's all going that way, but it just seems like a little. Maybe we're too old to appreciate it.
Whether we like it or not, it's going to be here real quick. Right?
One thing I know, no matter in what form it comes, I always need a driver in Vegas.
Good point.
There we go. All right, time to get your popcorn ready as we bring you a few quick stories. This is stuff that we just call fun to know, so here we go. Our focus today is the debut of a cultural icon, which more than 60 years later still has girl dads building dream houses.
Yeah. Barbie went on display at the American Toy Fair on this day in 1959. Now, it's fun to know Barbie was the first mass-produced toy doll with adult features. Mattel co-founder Ruth Handler got the idea from the doll when she saw her young daughter ignore baby dolls in favor of a paper doll that looked more like an adult woman. Well, as for the name, yeah, that does look more like Now, my sister had these things growing up.
Really? Okay. I have two boys. I don't know.
You don't know much about them.
I don't know much about Barbie. I mean, we all know Barbie, but I don't have personal experience.
My sister probably doesn't know this, but I use them a lot as. I was throwing them kind of like as grenades. She liked to comb their hair, but for her it was really important and my mom loved it because they could bond over them. So it was a really important time, especially back in the 70s, 80s, before everything we have now. They were a much bigger deal, I think, for kids.
Wow. Is Ken still around, or did she get rid of him?
Ken is still around, and there's Skipper. There's like a whole gang now.
There's a family now.
Yeah, and of course they have the van too, right?
Oh, wow.
Well, as for the name, Ruth Handler named the doll after her daughter Barbara. And as for Ken, he made his debut in 1961, and he's named after her son. I didn't know that.
All in the family.
Yeah.
I get it. Barbie's had more than 200 careers. Yep.
Busy girl.
Yeah, very busy. Everything from astronaut to firefighter to even presidential candidate. How about that? And back in '85, fashion icon Oscar de la Renta joined the team to style Barbie. She really has had an extraordinary life. She's not only ageless, she's done it all.
Yeah, veterinarian, doctor, you name it. And I think that's also good because especially for younger girls growing up for a long time, they just didn't think they could have those careers.
Right.
And that's why Barbie played such an important role in telling them and helping them understand that you can do whatever you want. So I thought that was really important.
It's the message behind it too.
Exactly.
That's why that's the message of those 200 careers.
Yeah.
You can do this too.
Oh yeah.
You girls can do this too.
I just remember getting in trouble for cutting her hair off. That was not a good day.
And the grenade thing.
And the grenade.
We'll examine that later. Finally, the 11.5-inch dolls will come to life on the big screen this summer.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling play Barbie and Ken. Now, the supporting cast is a cavalcade of stars. Will Ferrell, Kate McKinnon, Rhea Perlman, just to name a few. That is going to be fun.
You know, a little different role than Wolf of Wall Street, but
right.
A little slightly different from Margot Robbie.
It's going to be full of puns, I'm sure, and play on words and everything that you do with Barbie over the decades.
Exactly.
And she never ages. Barbie never ever ages.
But that Margot and Gosling, that's a nice pair for that movie. That's good.
I've
casting.
seen some screens of them, and it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun.
Enjoy it.
Lots of pink.
Plus that annoying song years ago.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
There we go.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it. Appreciate that. All right, more feel-good stories ahead here on Afternoon to Focus. Coming up after the break, the chance encounter that changed the course of a man's career.
I decided on that day I was going to get back to saving animals on my terms, and I was going to do it for passion, not for pay. I was just going to go out my free time, and I was going to find more people like him.
Welcome back. This is not your average porch pirate. Home security camera in Texas caught this pup, stealing a package. There he goes. The homeowners initially thought the wind had blown it away. They have no idea where the dog came from, and their package has not been recovered yet. He just takes it and runs. Look, there he goes.
So, look, we all need something from Amazon every now and then,
Exactly.
including
Now,
the dogs.
The funny thing is it was makeup. So it wasn't food or anything like that. So maybe he was taking it home to mom for a present.
Just a fun shoe toy, the plastic or the bubble wrap or whatever it was.
Yeah, pups love that kind of stuff. All right, well, they might wreak havoc at home and steal packages, but that doesn't stop folks from treating their pets like family. And I do it too. In these hard economic times, though, when people are worrying about feeding themselves and their families, who's looking out for the animals?
Fair question. Well, the veterinarian you're about to meet is making it his mission to give access to health care to those pets who otherwise just wouldn't have it. And our producer, Ali Flavit and Alexa Lianco have the story.
Hi, honey. Hi.
My name is Edie.
Edie.
She's my heart.
She's your heart, huh?
But yeah, is she okay?
We usually try and clean their teeth. We'll follow through with you and get that done.
Antonio, doctor.
Yeah, Quan.
Dr. Juan.
Yeah.
Thanks y'all so much.
Meet Dr. Quan Stewart, a veterinarian of more than 20 years. But more than a decade into his career, he had a crisis of conscience. Trained to save animals, he was instead working at a shelter that put them to sleep.
When you're this wide-eyed kid dreaming of being a vet one day, you never imagined you're going to be doing mass euthanasias.
But one morning on his way to work, he noticed a man and his dog sitting outside 7-Eleven.
This dog looked like a burn victim on its hind end. The fleas were so bad.
Dr. Stewart couldn't look away, so he introduced himself and asked about the pup.
The man, I just remember, it was still like it was yesterday, he was exasperated and desperate. And he said, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with her. And she's miserable and I'm miserable. And he was starting to get teary-eyed. And he said, I just, no one will help.
Quan vowed to return the next morning with something that would help.
It was a basic flea treatment. It was $3 out of my pocket, 5 minutes of my time. Saw the dog 10 days later, transformed. Dog was transformed. She was wagging her tail. Man sitting in the exact same spot looking up at me. This time crying, said, thank you for not ignoring me. I decided on that day I was going to get back to saving animals on my terms, and I was going to do it for passion, not for pay. I was just going to go out in my free time, and I was going to find more people like him and give free medical care. And 12 years later, I haven't stopped.
He's walked the streets of major cities in California like San Diego, Fresno, and Los Angeles, and for the first 7 years, Quan kept quiet about how he spent his free time.
It was my own little thing. I felt like it was saving me. I found my center, and this is it.
In 2020, the nonprofit Project Street Vet was born, and with the help of a team and donations, he's able to continue his mission of helping the unhoused and their pets with pop-up clinics in areas of need.
Those are very efficient because I can knock out 20, 25, 30 pets in a couple hours.
But he says he'll always love the element of surprise when he randomly shows up in an alley to offer free help.
And they open up and they start talking, and before you know it, it's funny how this really trusting door opens, and now we're almost like two friends, and that's when I get these amazing stories. I love sitting there talking and meeting new people.
You're a veteran, right?
It's those stories and connections that keep him going, and he hopes others stop overlooking our unhoused neighbors too.
So it's easy to complain and look at them and say, just clean yourself up and get your act together, but it's more than that. I can tell people it's so much more than that. And if you can step outside of that for a moment and just see another person in front of you, you'll find yourself wanting to help as well.
Oh.
That one got me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That one got me because I love animals. It feels like now I want to go back to school, get a new degree, and go be a vet on the weekends.
You have 14 degrees, Scott. You got to pick something to stick
I know,
with
but
it.
now I want to go help dogs and pets and cats that need help. Because it's those, and you know, whenever Julie's here and I talk to Julie about it, it's small things that we can do that make a big difference in someone else's life. It means to him the $3 for the flea medicine didn't mean anything to him, but it changed that dog's life. It changed that person's life.
Yeah, that was amazing. And if you ever lose hope again that there's still good people in the world, watch that story.
There sure are.
And he said something very key in that piece. I found my center.
Yeah.
He was never going to find it doing mass, euthanasia. Okay, that was not the thing. But then, not just helping pets, helping the pets of the unhoused.
Yep, that's
He
important.
took it to a whole nother level. So
important.
love that
Great
story.
guy. Well, we got more uplifting stories ahead, including women on wheels putting a purpose behind their passion. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, to many, roller derby can seem like a pretty intimidating sport. I can't even roller skate, so count me among that crowd. It's a part endurance race, part wrestling match, and all combined strategy and athleticism and camp.
It's a lot of fun. Dan Grossman introduces us to a group of women who are driven by much more than the thrill of the rink.
Call it football on skates. A sport that harnesses the bravado of the human spirit, encloses it in a rink,
Definitely a way to release stress and aggression.
and lets catharsis take over.
People are like, you're always so happy. And I'm like, I'm probably always so happy and smiling because I get to come and hit people multiple times a week.
Ouch! But beneath all that visceral brutality is a heart as pure and gentle as any you might encounter.
It's just like a nice, inclusive little community that I didn't even know existed around here.
At its core, roller derby is a contact sport on skates for points. Popularized in the 50s, it pits two teams against each other, trying to muscle each jammer, that player with the star on their helmet, past the other. For every player on the opposing team the jammer passes, a point is awarded. And outside of hits delivered below the elbow or knee, most nearly everything is allowed.
It's like a relay race with obstacles.
But what started as a way for players like Crystal Nathaniel to release aggression through the Dominion Derby Girls has turned into a way for others like Katie Greeley.
Yeah, if I have skates on, I'm racy. Doesn't matter where I am.
For them to discover empowerment and community.
I learned that there is so much strength within ourselves on the individual level that we don't know is there until we find a place that tells us that it's definitely there. And for me, that was roller derby.
In much of the sporting universe, men create many of the rules, but in roller derby, they don't. Instead, women make the teams, women drive the revenue, and they do it with a boldness they feel flips the script on what society says it means to be feminine.
Woo! Go Thunders!
It's just a really enriching environment being here.
It's why the Derby has become a haven for non-binary skaters like Artemis Arrow, too.
This is one of those places where I don't feel uncomfortable being myself. Outside of here, I might feel nervous, like, oh, can someone tell I was this gender at birth or assigned this gender at birth? And here, it doesn't matter.
In a world where many strive for acceptance, these skaters have already found it. And if you have something to say about it,
Silly faces, go!
they suggest you keep it to yourself.
Love it.
Great last line. Keep it to yourself.
Keep it.
Props to them. That's a rough game.
Oh yeah, and they all usually have really cool team names too. So, and it's a really great sport for them. I don't think I would survive one loop around. I would be out and knocked over.
I can't roller skate when there's no one around, let alone if the goal is to knock me over or chase me down.
We would not be a good team.
That would not happen.
At all. Not at all.
Wow, I love it. Get out that aggression. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good way to relieve some aggression. Yeah. All right, don't go anywhere. See what has these two dogs jumping for joy. That story coming up next. Stay right there.
All right, welcome back. This is your daily reminder to check in on your neighbors. These two pups meet up every single day.
What do you think they're saying to each other? We don't know. How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, buddy, what's going on? Look at that. They are best friends over the fence. I love when you see that at the park, the dogs talking over the fence like that, but then when they get together, they ignore each other. So this is fantastic.
This is good to see. What is Miss Johnson wearing today? I don't know why she put that on. That is crazy.
Got the tail wagging, having a good time.
Gossiping. Well, if you enjoyed those two dogs, you're going to love tomorrow's story about a llama on the lamb.
No.
You make that kissy sound. That's llama for I'm going to spit on you.
Learn something every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Focus. More tomorrow. The Adventures of Joe Llama.
That is one big llama. Well, that's our show for today. We want to hear from you, though.
Send us your ideas right to our Facebook page, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same couch. Check us out.